Good morning. It is Sunday, May 12th, 2024, year of our Lord Jesus Christ. Chris Garcia here. It's been several months since I did a video. I had plans of doing videos of recording my going to the school board meetings and arguing with them, but I don't know. I was kind of led down a different path. This whole thing is taking me to a point of realization that I probably have to get involved to see the change that I want to see happen in the schools and in the county. I live in LA County, and in my state, California, which is the most communist state in probably all of the United States, battling closely with New York. So I really want to see this change happen. I've been going to board meetings and I'm hearing the problems that are going on, from special needs children's abuse going on, kids fighting, well-being center being put up that no one even goes to, that's supposed to be there for the children in case they want, they have gender dysphoria and they want to talk about it, or they want to have medications given to them for that without the parents' knowledge, and the parents being very upset about this well-being center. Just one thing after another I'm hearing is just horrible. To staff in the schools getting underpaid, and they're getting underpaid really bad, and they're promised a raise by this terrible governor we have of 8%, and the school board only gives them 3%, and that 8% was approved, and they only gave them a 3% increase. So it's just like, I'm hearing all this, and I came to two realizations. One, we have to identify what the major problem is, because all these things are symptoms of a deep problem, a deep-rooted one. And it's not just in Norwalk-La Mirada School District. It's in all of LA County and a lot of the United States as a whole. And I think all of us fathers, especially us who are veterans, a lot of you guys have fought in wars and, in the Middle East and in other places that you can't talk about. And you guys have done things in the name of this country that probably we didn't really necessarily need to keep us safe. But this fight is to keep our children's minds safe from invaders from within. And I see this need, so I've decided to run for board, and I'm going to go against them. I believe strongly that this is where God is leading me, and I believe I'm going to win. I've put my house up for sale. This house, I've done all this painting. I've done all this stuff to the house. I have one more room to paint. But I've done all this so that I could sell my house. And I have to live in the district in order to run, so I could purchase or rent a house in the district and make a run for it. So I really believe this is where God's leading me, and I'm going to do it. And my main focal point is to attack that root problem. And I believe the root problem is, in the 60s, they took Bible and prayer out of schools. Up until that point, the Bible was used to help children learn to read, because, the Bible can be a complicated book. It's very good to learn how to read from it. So it was used for that for, over 100 years. And then in the 60s, they took it out. So we have, from 62 or 63, we have all these years, 60 years to look back and see, okay, what's happened since then? Well, the school system's gone to crap in America. Absolute crap. So how do we fix it? Well, we were good before, so what do we need to do? Bring the Bible back into schools. The idea of, what about separation of church and state? Doesn't exist. It does not exist anywhere in our founding documents. So, this whole thing where you have to keep it separated, I realize that for most people, it's normal not to have the Bible, not to have these things in school. For me, I was used to it because I went to a Christian school, and then I went to public school during high school. And what a shock, what a dramatic shock. And I didn't like high school much, and my head wasn't where it should have been during that time. I didn't care for school. I didn't want to be in school, and I used to ditch a lot, and I got caught up with the wrong crowds. But I paid attention to a lot of things, surprisingly, and I did see how things were crazy different from private school to public school, and I didn't realize the impact not having the Bible in school was having. The kids were different from me. You know, most of them had already had sex multiple times with multiple partners. I hadn't. I didn't have sex till I was like 18, 19 years old. So it was really interesting that these kids that were like 15, 16, they were going at it like rabbits. And it was if you weren't, it was like you were the outcast. What's wrong with you type of thing. And that was then. That was, what are we in? 24, like 30 years ago. That's like 30 years ago. Imagine how bad it is now for these kids. Well, obviously we could see it. You could see how bad it is. I mean, they don't know who's a boy, who's a girl. They're so confused. They're so mentally out of sorts. Some of them are really bright kids, and they've had some good upbringings, and parents have been able to counter what they've been teaching their children in schools. Like myself, my boys they're good kids. They believe in Jesus. We pray every day. I talk to them about the Bible. I talk to them about biblical stories. But most kids have no clue. And then when you get to the college level, all they do is make fun of the Bible and make fun of God. And it's like, how could we have allowed this to fester this long? They teach evolution in schools. Evolution as if it's real. Now, you can believe in evolution all you want. It's not science. It's a theory. It's an unproven theory. And there's 5 components of evolution that you will never see happen. Now, they kind of bring other stuff in, like adaptation and stuff like that, which you can observe. But it doesn't explain, a whale, a dog becoming a man or a monkey becoming a man. It doesn't show any of that. Adaptation is just kind of adapting to the environment, right? Growing a thicker coat of fur type of stuff like that. Gaining more weight in the winter, those type of things, that's adaptation. So, they're teaching this evolution stuff. And when you do that, you take away any moral compass from the child, right? Because what does evolution teach? Survival of the fittest. If that's what we're teaching them, then we deserve what we have in society. And that's, we don't deserve the republic that was given to us by our founders. And we are a republic. We're not a democracy. We are not a democracy. Can't emphasize that enough. I'm so sick of hearing it. It doesn't have to do with the parties, Republican and Democrat. A democracy, the majority rules, and in a republic, the minority has a shot. And basically, it protects the rights of the individuals in a republic. In a democracy, it doesn't. So that's what democracy and republic mean. We have a constitutional republic, and it's important to understand that. They asked Ben Franklin, a woman asked him, so what did you give us? And he said, well, a republic. And then he says, if you can keep it. And on the Constitution, it starts off with we the people. It's up to us to keep it. It's up to us to go and stop these pure evil, in my book, these evil intentions that have been infecting our country and our society for the past 60 years. The devil's been attacking America because America is a Christian nation, always has been. Even to this day, as far off as we've gone, we're still a Christian nation. Other countries hate us because we're a Christian nation. That has to be taken into consideration for everybody who's a free thinker. That's one thing about schools. They don't want free thinkers. They don't want people thinking for themselves. Okay? for you liberals out there, right? And I believe a lot of liberals are more conservative than they probably say publicly. But those of you who know people who are liberals and vote Democrat all the time, a lot of them are pretty conservative, have conservative values. And they're, they're our fellow Americans. And it's important because I think we actually agree on a lot of things, more so than we differ. And we shouldn't let Democrat, Republican get in the way of our humanity. And certainly most of us are believers of either Christianity or Catholicism. And then you have the other religions too. But in society, yeah, we have all these different cultures and stuff, but we're predominantly Catholic Christian. We're a Christian nation, So it's important for us to get back to our roots, right? To get back to our original intent. There's a website called Wall Builders, wallbuilders.com. It's started by David Barton. And that guy's a historian. He goes to original documents. Excuse me. He talks about founders, black founders who signed the Constitution, how we started the Declaration of Independence, how that all came to be. He goes into the history of things, and it's important that, we know these things. It's the reason why I'm running for school board, because my whole thing is to bring the Bible back into schools. And I'm really going to push hard for that, really hard. So I'm going to be going up against not just the school board here in my district, right, which is small, in retrospect to everything else. But I'm taking on LA County, because as soon as they catch wind of what's going on here, they're going to want to put that fire out fast. And I'm going to be the main one they come after, because although there are some good people on the board, and we're going to get some good ones in as well, to vote against the county is not an easy thing to do. And some of the good ones may not want to, just out of fear of retaliation. I'm not that one. I'm not afraid of it at all. I'll go against the county. And hopefully in the process of doing this and the bumps and bruises that I attain on the way, that maybe there's some really good, strong men and women, particularly men. We need you guys to really step up, but women too. Women are fierce. If we could get some men to stand up, it'd be great, and join the fight. Because then we can get people in the right positions all over the place. You change LA County, the whole United States is going to change back to being a strong Christian nation. I guarantee you. There's more corruption in LA County than probably anywhere else in the United States. I've seen it. I have seen it in different jobs I've done, security jobs. I worked at downtown Skid Row. So, I have some insight on this stuff. I'm from California, born and raised. I've been through Arnold, and I've been through this Yahoo that, they've already tried to recall him once, and I'm pretty sure they want to do it again. We need to get rid of that guy. He's horrible. Horrible. He's a horrible person. He's just all bad. I don't know if he still does drugs, but he used to. When he was in San Francisco, he was a coke addict. So, that's the thing, is like people don't even know this stuff about him. They don't know about, what went on in his personal life that I'm sure was affecting his work life as well when he was mayor in San Francisco. And look at San Francisco now. It's complete garbage. That's how he left it. What's his name? Ron DeSantis pretty much destroyed him in the debate they had. Just destroyed him. And it's embarrassing because I'm from California and this is the guy we have running the show, and it really sucks. We need to get some really good people. Larry Elder is a really good dude. It would have been really good to get him in there. Go figure. Everyone votes for the white guy over the black dude. Go figure, here in California, right? The diversity capital of the world. But you got a black man running because he has an R next to his name. They don't vote for him. That's crazy. They vote for the coke addict. I don't even get into his personal stuff because I don't want to do personal attacks, because I know I'm going to get them. And who am I to judge, right? So I can't tell you his policies suck, and he's attacking our rights, consistently, especially our gun rights. Oh my gosh, he's going crazy with those. And they're fighting those in the Supreme Court, and he's losing battles left and right in the Supreme Court. People probably don't even know that what's going on with that. You guys could look into that. It's pretty embarrassing what this guy's doing. Over here, I don't know if you guys know this in the other states, but I have a Camaro, right? And I really want to upgrade my Camaro, but I have to be very cautious what I put under the hood of my car because it's deemed illegal in California. It's absolutely insane. If I want to get, in those car enthusiasts, if I want to get headers and a cam, if I'm not careful on which ones I get, it'd be considered illegal for emission purposes, which is still going to burn clean, but it doesn't matter. This is what I'm talking about. Like, we're not even free over here. I can't even fix my car up the way I want to. It's absolutely ridiculous. And they're talking about getting rid of cars and going fully electric over here. It's insane. The insanity that goes on over here. I wish we had Texas or Florida's, governor over here, and things were politically more like those states, right? But I was born and raised here, and I'm not the one that's going to leave California and to give up on it. The people who have left, if they come back and fight, we could win. We could win. I hate that they've left. So many have left. And I know some people, they feel like they have to, maybe financially they have to, but the big companies that have left and the big money earners that have left, like, why not stay and fight? Like, we need you. We need those people more than anyone else. And California is a great place to live. It's the best place to live in all of the United States as far as having all four seasons and having places you can go. You want to go to the snow, it's an hour and a half away. You want to go to the beach, it's 40 minutes away. Whatever you want to do, there's places to go. You want to go to Vegas, it's 3-hour drive. Like, this is the place to be. You have the desert. You want to live in the desert in California, we have the high desert. You could live out there. Palmdale, Victorville, Hesperia, all that up there, Apple Valley. California really has it all. We have the best Marine Corps base you could possibly ever go to, and especially in boot camp. We have Camp Pendleton and MCRD over there. That's the best place you could go to boot camp. Don't get mad, you Lejeune guys. Don't get mad. But no, we have a lot here in California that, man, if we had the right leadership in this state, how amazing could it be here? But that, I'm kind of going off there. Back to the schooling, right? What would make it amazing, not just here in LA and in California in general and all of the United States, but to bring the Bible back in school and to change back to that. Kids learning not to be having sex before marriage. Is that such a bad thing that they learn that? Would that be such a bad thing? They don't even have to believe. And as parents, you don't have to believe in the Bible. But this is a Christian nation, and it was founded on Judeo-Christian principles. Like, our laws were formed from the men who came here, and they put together all these, the Mayflower Compact and all that, and they put all this together from reading their Bibles. That's where they got all the laws from. It was from the Bible, from Moses, and it's like, I think our seal was even going to be Moses. And it's like, how do you ignore this stuff? Why are we not being taught these things? And I know some people just don't believe in the Bible, and it's because for the last 60 years, it's been taken away from them. So how could they possibly know? And how could they fight for something that they don't even know about? And I've had to come to that realization the last few days, couple weeks, because I'm going and I'm bashing the school board members, and I'm really on them. And it was brought to my attention by someone who was there, who I really respect. And he told me, like, hey, you got to kind of tone it down type of thing. And he helped me realize that they weren't taught Bible. They're not going to fight for something that they don't hold it as valuable to them. Okay. I was, so that's why I'm putting that fight forward. And not only was I taught Bible and brought up with it, I know the history behind it. I know the history behind our country and the Bible. You know, people literally, we left Great Britain to come over here to have free worship. And today we're allowing Great Britain to seep back in. It's not actually Great Britain, but we're allowing that same mentality to come back in and get the Bible out of things and out of the public square and anything goes type of attitude. And it's just bad. You know, there's one of the big things in the school board meetings that they're talking about is attendance, that they don't have enough new incoming students, and that the numbers are dropping. Even in the colleges, they're having this problem. Well, why? Because you're teaching crap to the kids. I'm not going to pay for my kids to go to college so they could be indoctrinated. I'm not going to do it. And everybody's starting to realize that that's the case. So they're not putting their kids in college. What a waste of time. What a waste of time and money. So what's the solution? To me, it's simple. And I've been telling them to put it on the agenda, but they won't do it. Now, I'm not a board member yet. It won't be until November, but the election, I get on the ballot in July. I have to find a place by then. And I have about 3 weeks before this. I'm in escrow now before it closes completely. And then I can actually go into a new place. So pray for me that we find a place, a house, preferably that we could rent. And it's just me and the boys. So, you know, I need to find a place. And so that way we could be in the district and we could run and we could win and we could start this journey, you know, and I'm going to document it through here. I mean, I'm at 21 minutes right now, so I'm trying to be mindful of you guys' time. I know people these days like TikTok and all these quick little stuff, you know, and don't really want to stay on for the longer 30 minutes, hours plus stuff. So I'm trying to limit these. But you know, the Bible that was written, and this is where I'm going to go, and I'll finish with this as quickly as I can. The Bible was written 2,000 years ago, right? A New Testament. And it's written in Acts, I believe. Romans. It's written in Romans. It's written that in the end, that basically the people will be giving themselves up to these vile passions. And it talks about men with men and women with women. And it just talks about all these disgusting things, basically, that men will give themselves, you know, they'll be going after, these lusts that they go after. And it's very clear on what that looks like in the description that it's giving. And Paul's the one who writes this. And the description he's giving is today. It's exactly what we see. You know, my son, I was in this other district. I live currently in the opposite district or another district outside of where I'm going to be running for board. That's why I have to move. So we were in this other district, and my son was using the restroom, and this girl walks in as he's urinating, and he's like, "What the heck?" And so he didn't tell me right away. He told me like a month or two later, and I'm like, "Why didn't you tell me?" He's like, "I don't know, I just forgot." And I'm like, "Son, you got to let me know about stuff like this." So I go and I tell the principal, I'm like, "What the hell is going on?" This girl walked in. "Oh, well, she had a badge." I'm like, "A badge? What do you mean she had a badge? What does that got to do with this?" "Oh, it's a trans badge." I was like, "Get the hell out of here. Get out of here with that bull crap." I told her, if the kids are confused about whether they're a boy or a girl, and they can't figure that out, and you guys can't teach them that, then you go and you put them in a solo restroom, one that only one person can go in at a time, and let them use that. I'm like, don't be having them go in the bathroom, girls with boys. My boy goes into a restroom and there's a girl in there, he's going to get in trouble, right? By me, but he's going to get in trouble by the school. And I said, this isn't right. You guys are teaching insanity to the kids. I'm like, do you even have children? And she got pissed off and walked away from me. And that was another thing. I've been dealing with this type of stuff for a while with the kids. I have 5 sons. So, you know, my oldest just got out of the Marine Corps, and my other ones, they'll be going into the Marine Corps soon. So it's just, it's frustrating to see this stuff going on. And, you know, and I've been angry about it for a long time. And again, you got the Bible talking about these things happening. And what's missing in the schools? The Bible. So if the Bible was there, we wouldn't be having these problems. We really wouldn't. Parents especially here in where I live in Norwalk and the surrounding LA area, pretty much is predominantly Catholic and Christian people. At least they claim to be, and they go to churches. We still have churches here. It's not like Europe, where the churches are empty. There's still churches here, fairly big ones, and it's like, why aren't we teaching the Bible? Why isn't it in the public square? Why isn't it something that, our whole founding is based off that book. It really is. Because through that book, we learn about Jesus. We learn about the history of the world, of earth, and it's not being taught. Instead, you got evolution, the religion of evolution, believing in something that you can't see. That's evolution. At least biblically, you have archaeology that proves these things, or actually the Bible talks about these things, and through archaeology, you can see that it's true. From all kinds of different things. Giants, right? David killed Goliath. Goliath was a giant. Is that just a fake story, or is it real? Do you actually believe it? I believe it 100%. So where do we find giants? They're all over the earth. The skeletons are all over the earth. We just had an accident. There's giants all over the place, literally all over the place today. There's remains of them. They hide all that. Why aren't we being taught that stuff? Noah's Ark, the flood, right? Was there an actual flood? Was there a flood that took place? That was probably the devil that knocked my phone down, huh? There's an actual flood that took place over the whole earth. Well, where's Noah's Ark today? It's in Turkey. It's sitting on a mountain in Turkey, kind of buried into the mountain now. You could go watch. Ron Wyatt found it years back, but no one paid him no mind. You go and you can look it up on YouTube. You could see for yourself. I'm not making this stuff up. It's got video footage and everything. Moses parting the Red Sea and the Red Sea falling on the Egyptians. Is there any evidence of that? You go in the Red Sea. They've gone diving in the Red Sea, and you see the chariot wheels with corals forming around them and all that. How did that stuff get there? How did that get there? This is written about thousands of years ago, and you go and you discover these things, and it's like, holy crap, it's real. It's real, right? Sodom and Gomorrah, these cities that were destroyed by fire and brimstone from the heavens, right? In the Middle East over there, you have a size of two cities, right? The size of two cities with brimstone all over it. All over it. You can look that up on YouTube too. And then up on a peak, on a mountaintop, looking down on those two cities, there's this huge pillar of salt. Why is there a pillar of salt there? Where do we hear that from? Well, when God was there getting them out of there, the angels were taking that family out, Lot's family out. He told them not to look back, that if they did, they turned to a pillar of salt. And what happened? His wife looked back, and it said that she turned to a pillar of salt. It's there today. It's sitting there. That pillar, she is still sitting there, standing there today, right now as I'm doing this video. Now, will they knock it down? I don't know. It's been there this whole time. They haven't touched it. When Moses struck the rock and water was coming down, they found that rock. There's this huge rock. It looks like river rock because when water runs through a rock, it gets smooth. You have these huge, and it's huge. It's not a little rock. It's huge. And it has the incision coming down the middle of it where water was gushing out. The Bible is so real. It's remarkable. It's remarkable. And it makes, when you start realizing how true it is, you start realizing what a joke evolution is. And they're teaching this to our kids. It's remarkable. Like I said, you don't have to believe the Bible, right? But why keep kids from knowing about this book that basically was the reason for us even becoming a nation? Why keep it from them? Let them learn what it is about this nation. It's what makes this nation such an amazing place. And I know today in the colleges and the schools, they want you to hate America because Satan hates America. And our enemies hate us. Why? Because we're a Christian nation, because we follow God. At least we have for the majority of our time. And up until the last 60 years, there's been a real aggressive fight to end that. And it's not going to end. Because people as myself, and I'm not a good dude. I'm not, I've been blessed a lot and I'm good only because God lives in me, because Christ lives in me. And that's the only goodness I have about myself. I fight myself every day. I have a fight within myself that goes on, right? I'm human. I'm human just like anyone else. Everyone expects Christians to be perfect, and they always throw, oh, well, you're a Christian, you should this, you should that. We're not perfect. We're people too. And it's a struggle. We have a struggle every day, but we try to do what's right. We genuinely try. We have a moral compass, a moral code that's been given to us by God, that's mandated, that we follow. And we do the best we can at it. And when we mess up, we go to God and ask for forgiveness. He'll forgive us because he said he would. And then we move on. And that's what we do as Christians. We're not perfect. We're human just like you if you're not a Christian. And don't expect the world from us because we're going to mess up. But just know that we're trying, and again, I went off again, but back to the whole schooling thing, we really need to get this squared away, and we could address the symptoms. Oh, get rid of the well-being center, get rid of this, get rid of that, implement this, implement that. The bottom line is we got to take care of the root problem, and that's the lack of God in school. So we need to get the Bible back into school. And, it'd be great if we got to the point one day where they're actually praying before class, asking God to let us have a great day. You don't have to make nothing mandatory for people, but it's something that we should really have available. There should be a Bible class. There should certainly should be teaching creation in science, and let children choose, what makes more sense to them. I'm confident that as long as you're giving biblical teachings from people who actually believe in the Bible, you're giving biblical teachings, it'll win the day because it makes too much sense as to the alternative, which is really amazing. I mean, the Big Bang, nothing blew up and all this came into being. That's a miracle in itself, right? So, ultimately, again, I'm running for school board. I'd appreciate your support. I'm going to go door knocking and introduce myself to my community and to everybody and let them know that, ultimately I do want to have the Bible in schools. But as I'm pushing for that, I'm going to be talking about parental rights, how the parents should have the say. They should know what's going on with their kids at all times. Kids shouldn't be able to go and get any kind of surgeries done or medications prescribed to them without parents' knowledge. Parents need to be there, plain and simple. I don't even care if there's a well-being center as long as the parents know what's going on, right? Kid shows up, first call, your son or daughter, they're over here. They have this and this issue. We want to help them. How should we proceed? Parent says, wait for me to get there. That type of thing. Or some parents may just say, you know what? Yeah, take care of them. That's the parent's call, right? Personally, I don't like any of the stuff that they offer. I think it's abuse of the children. But that's another topic for another day. But that's what I'm going to do. I'd appreciate any help you can give. Anybody who lives in the Norwalk area, put the word out there. All right. Pray for my boys because I know the attacks are going to come and I just don't want nothing happening to them. And I want their minds, heads cleared and their soul headed in the right direction. And they're preparing to go to the Marine Corps. So I don't want nothing to get in the way of that. Pray for us. Keep us in your prayers and thoughts. And that's it. God bless.